that when we got back to the house, Yamada-san would be the only person Yamada-san would be the only person we found there waiting for us. What's that? What's that you say? You're looking for who? No. I'm sorry, boys, but you'll have to speak up. I'm half deaf in this ear and completely deaf in the other. It's for us, Hiro. She's shouting like that to let us hear from a distance, and know not to come any closer. Hiro Sakurai. Hiro Sakurai? Hito Sakurai. Never heard of him. Does he owe you money? They won't be satisfied with just questions. What? Speak up. They are going to search the house. Sure enough, one of the two men stepped away and circled around to the back of the house. There were any number of ways he could break in back there. None of them particularly hard. Hiro, we can't stay here any longer. We've got to go to that cave now. With no supplies, Miki, we'd be lucky if we lasted one night out there. Tell me, boy, have you been to the local hot springs? A lovely place. This time of the year, you really ought to go. We'll make a fire. We'll find a way. We'll do like you said. Push our bodies to the limit. I don't know, Miki. I just don't see how we... Yes, you really ought to go. Don't put it off. Go as soon as you can. Hiro, listen to what Yamada-san's saying. I'll go with you if I could, in a heartbeat. She's not talking to that guy anymore. But I can't. So you'll have to go without me. And she's definitely not talking about the hot springs. Just then the other man appeared at the front door, holding our backpacks. Yamada-san opened her mouth as if to offer an explanation. But if she actually said anything, we were too far away by then to hear. Without a word, Hiro took me by the hand, and with little more than the clothes on our backs, we ran off into the woods. We were lucky. We left our fishing gear beside the river. Going back, we took all of it with us. The tackle box, the fishing poles, and the jackets we worn. Thank God. When we first left the house that morning, there was also a pitiful small bento box, a would-be afternoon snack that would now have to be rationed to the utmost care, bracing ourselves for a journey Yamada-san had described as 6 or 7 hours, mostly uphill. We grabbed our things and got started. It was rough going almost immediately. No one had cleared the trail in years, possibly decades. Fallen trees and newly diverted mountain streams slowed our progress by 5 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and as the sun sank lower and lower in the sky, it became increasingly doubtful that we reached the cave by nightfall. Miki, you need rest. You're going to collapse if you keep pushing yourself this hard. But the cave will get there tomorrow. For tonight, I'll improvise a shelter, and we will conserve our energy. I wanted to protest. to prove that my body wasn't going to give out on the very first day, but my aching muscles and the blistered feet said otherwise. Hiro worked on a lean-to, a surprisingly sturdy structure made of sticks, fishing lines, and huge quantities of leaves, while I was entrusted with the fire-building duties. It would have been a near impossible task if not for the cheap plastic lighter Yamada-san had tossed into the tackle box for sterilizing needles in a first aid kit. Fearing its sheer age would render it useless, I actually kissed the thing for good luck. And hey, who's to say it didn't help? There were a few false starts, and I'm sure I looked like a complete idiot at certain points. But as with so many things in life, persistence paid off. Hiro, that night when I overheard the conversation between you and Yamada-san, you were talking about someone, a deliverer named Akuzu. Yes, Akuzu. He is one of the chosen 12. They are the most powerful of all the deliverer elders. Mother Freya grants them unnaturally long lives, some of them hundreds of years in duration, so that they can ensure continuity from one generation of deliverers to the next. Akuzu has one goal and one goal only: to enforce absolute discipline among the deliverers under his command. Miki, you and I, and the actions we have taken, are the greatest breach of discipline ever to occur on Akuzu's watch. Yamada-san believes that he is going to make an example of us, that he views our very existence as an outrageous affront to his authority, and that he will not rest until his agents have captured us and separated us for the rest of our lives. Do you think they will succeed? Hiro, do you think Akuzu's men will find us and separate us? They may, Miki. They may. They may in the end, but I promise you this. They can't change the way I feel about you. There's no power on earth that can do that. Not now, not anymore. It meant the world to me to hear those words. I wanted to somehow wrap myself up in them, just as I could wrap myself up in Hiro's arms, to feel the full measure of his protection, and yet nothing, neither Hiro's words nor his arms, could quite dislodge the dreadful knowledge that had now taken root within me. That somewhere out there was a vengeful being hundreds of years old, who was at that very moment looking for us, and who would not stop looking until he stood before us face to face. The next morning I awoke cold, aching and washed, and with what felt like a small forest worth of leaves in my hair. Hiro said that I need all the energy I could spare for the day's hike, and insisted that I eat last of the bento boxes onigiri and the dried persimmons for breakfast. After what I hoped was an earnest-sounding claim, that I thought it best to save half of it for later. I wolfed down every last scrap. We then extinguished the fire, destroyed the lean-to, and got back on the trail to the cave. Neither of us quite ready to admit that the clouds overhead looked an awful lot like rain clouds.